All right, today we're going to deconstruct one of the most important tracks from Jay-Z's album 444. I'm talking about The Story of O.J. This song is, well, it's part cultural critique, part financial masterclass, all wrapped up in a few minutes of just brilliant, brilliant lyricism.
So the song just drops you right in with this line. It's an iconic, kind of jarring quote that's been attributed to O.J. Simpson himself, and Jay-Z, he uses this to set the stage for the big idea he's about to tear down. This notion that a black person can somehow use fame and money to just transcend their race in America. That little, okay, at the end, yeah, that tells you exactly what Jay-Z thinks about that idea.
And this is what the song calls the O.J. problem. It's this belief that you can separate yourself from your community, that you can get so successful that society stops seeing you through the lens of race. But as Jay-Z's about to argue, that's a really dangerous illusion.
He immediately takes this idea and grounds it in a really painful piece of history. You know, he draws this line between the house nigga, who's trying to get accepted by the powers that be, and the field nigga, who represents a kind of authenticity, that hustle from the ground up. But look, he's not just giving us a history lesson here. He's using it as a huge metaphor for assimilation versus building power within your own community.
And that leads us right into the core argument of the entire song, what he calls the still a nigga thesis. This is the raw, unfiltered heart of the track. It's where Jay-Z basically says, look, it doesn't matter how you see yourself or how other people try to categorize you, society's perception of your race is inescapable.
First up, he tackles the big one, class. He says whether you're a rich nigga or a poor nigga, you're still seen the same way. All the money that O.J. had, it didn't do a thing to erase the public's perception of his identity when he was on trial.
But then he goes even deeper, and this is where it gets really interesting. He starts talking about divisions within the black community. Light nigga, dark nigga. He's making the point that even things like colorism, these internal fights, they don't matter in the face of a society that doesn't see those little differences.
And the punchline is, all of it. Rich, poor, light, dark, house, field, all those labels, they just collapse into this one single thing. So, if you can't escape it, then the only question left is, what do you do about it?
And this is where the whole song pivots. It's incredible. After spending the first half diagnosing this huge cultural problem, Jay-Z spends the entire second half giving you a solution. He lays out a real, actionable financial blueprint. He's saying the path to freedom isn't escaping who you are, it's building economic power.
And it all starts with this unbelievably direct, simple piece of advice. He just cuts right through all the flash and the glamour that you see in hip-hop and gets right to the point. The foundation isn't having stacks of cash, it's credit. That is the key that unlocks everything else.
He's basically giving you a playbook here, a simple three-step plan. Step 1, build your foundation with good credit. Step 2, use that credit not just to buy a house for yourself, but to buy the neighborhood, to own property and invest in your community. And then step 3, diversify. Go invest in other assets, like art.
Now, Jay-Z gets really specific in the song. He literally says, you ever wonder why Jewish people own all the property in America? This how they did it. What he's doing is pointing to another community strategy, group economics, property ownership, as a proven model for how to build wealth that lasts.
And he's not just talking in abstracts. He gives you a real-life, painful example from his own experience. He talks about regretting not buying a building in Dumbo, Brooklyn for $2 million. And you want to know why? Because that same building is now worth $25 million. It's just a brutal lesson in the power of real estate.
Then he does the same thing with art. He bought a piece for $1 million. 2 years later, it's worth $2 million. A few years after that, it's worth $8 million. This isn't about having pretty things on your wall. It's about seeing art as a real asset that grows in value.
So you do all this for what? What's the real point here? For Jay-Z, it's not just about him getting rich. It's about something way bigger, generational wealth. The kind of wealth that creates true, lasting freedom for your family, for your community.
And this line right here, this is the emotional core of his whole financial plan. The motivation isn't selfish at all. It's about legacy. It's about building something that's going to outlive you and empower the next generation, so you can break old cycles and create new ones. So at the end of the day, what Jay-Z is doing is drawing a super sharp line between what he calls performative wealth, holding a stack of money to your ear for an Instagram picture, and real wealth. One is just an illusion, it's temporary. The other is a foundation built on credit, ownership, and assets.
His entire definition of financial freedom comes down to this one simple, powerful mission from the song: avoid living rich and dying broke. It's about creating a system of wealth that's sustainable, one that gives you security and opportunity, not just for you, but for everyone who comes after you.
And that really leaves us with this final, massive idea to chew on. In a world where Jay-Z argues your social perception is basically fixed, he gives you a blueprint to change your material reality. So the question the song kind of leaves you with is this: is the smart, strategic pursuit of economic power the most effective form of protest we have today?